One crucial component of running a small business today is having social media, right? But posting on social media is a huge time suck, and it's pulling you away from doing things you enjoy more in your business, like designing new products. So today I'm going to tell you all of my secrets for how to schedule a whole month of Instagram and Facebook content in one day to save you hundreds of hours. Hi, my name is May, and I help makers, artists, and designers make a consistent income from selling their handmade products online. So first, let's get up to speed and on the same page with social media. If you're selling online, you have to be on social media. It's just become expected of online shop owners. Chances are you're probably already on social media, right? One thing you need to know first is with all of the social media platforms, you're rewarded for recent content. So if you put up a Facebook post a month ago, it's not going to get any traction today. So this is very different from the world of content creation like blogging or making YouTube videos, where you would put up a post and it would take some time to actually gain traction. Social media posts have a very short lifespan. It's very fast moving. Once you post something, it gets some views for a few hours, if not for a few minutes, and then it gets buried by the content published by all the other social media accounts out there. Of course, there is the very rare 0.001% exception of content that goes viral, and that can resurface months and even years later. So for the most part, there really is sort of a treadmill to posting this content, but it doesn't have to take up too much time, okay? So let's talk about our secrets. Secret number one is you're going to need some software. Yes, scheduling out your content needs some scheduling software. There's two that I've used, Later and Planoly. I recommend both of them. Both of these pieces of software allow you to upload your photos, write up your captions, and pick a time that this content goes out. So the whole idea behind scheduling is that you'll sit down on one day, you'll assemble all of this content while you're kind of having some writing mojo, and then meter it out over the course of the month. So what you might do, and I'm going to go into more details about how to do this, is you'll write up one caption and say, post this on Monday. Write up another one. Okay, now post this on Tuesday. And so these softwares allow you to do that, okay? So now let's talk about how to create this content quickly so that you can get this all done in one day. Now, we're going to need three things. You're going to need photos, you're going to need written descriptions of your posts, and you're going to need hashtags, especially for Instagram. So the first secret for the first ingredient, which is photos, is I encourage you to develop a photo library. That just means a folder of photos of your products on your computer. So you probably already have a lot of those photos. If you've got a website with your photos of your products on it, you've got photos you can use. It's good to have both lifestyle photos and photos of your products on a white or plain background. Lifestyle photos are of someone holding your product or someone wearing your product or your product being used out in the real world. Photos on a plain background can be helpful for more focused promotion of your products on social media. I recommend using a mix of both types of photos. I do this with my Tiny Hands social pages, and based on my own stats, both types do well. To get all of those photos done in the first place, you have two options. You can hire a photographer to do it for you, and if you're organized with which products need to be photographed, it doesn't have to cost too much when you break it down to a per photo cost. Especially when you consider that your photographer can probably shoot like 100 or more photos in an hour. That's easily 3 months worth of content, right? But if you're going the DIY route and you don't want to hire a photographer, you can do this yourself. I definitely recommend taking some photography classes and practicing in your own time first, so you get a sense for how to shoot good-looking and clear photos. If you need some help, check out Amy Eaton, who specializes in teaching product photography to handmade crafters. So I do this myself for my jewelry business. I just snap photos using my iPhone. So for example, if you sell stuffed animals or blankets or clothing or whatever, take some photos in your bedroom, take some photos on your sofa, do some photos out in the backyard. Have a few changes of clothes if you've got a friend to help you and she's your model. You don't need a fancy camera, but the most important things to your photo is that it's staged in a way that complements your product and doesn't distract from it. It has good lighting, so don't shoot under the direct sunlight, and that your photos are not blurry and they're crisp and clear. Your photos don't have to look like super high fashion editorial magazine quality photos, because it's been proven that those kinds of photos actually get lower engagement than photos that look authentic and real. It's also a good idea to have in mind the image that you want to convey to your customers when you shoot these photos. Have an idea of what your brand is like. Like, is it soft and romantic and pastel? Or is it hard and edgy with like spikes? And whatever it is, it might actually help you to write it down or to go onto Pinterest and create a secret board for product photography inspiration. So at the end of this quick photo shoot, you should have dozens of photos, and you only need 30 photos to post every day for the next 30 days. And these aren't even going to be all of your own content, so you probably only need like 15 of these photos to get you through a month. We'll talk more about this later. Another thing people don't think about, but it's been true when you've been in business, all of these photos are reusable. That means that even though you're posting this one photo today, there's no reason you can't post it again a few months later and then again another few months later. No one is on social media who's going like, oh, she just posted that photo 2.5 years ago and she's reusing it. No one says that because no one's watching that closely. So keep these photo libraries around because you'll be able to use them later. You'll want to take some photos of your works in progress as well. So for example, let's say in October, I did a whole photo shoot of just in progress photos. I set aside all my in progress pieces and photographed all of that. I don't have to use all of those photos that I just took. Then for that month, I can use 2 photos and distribute the rest of the work in progress photos throughout the whole year, right? I like to mix things up with different kinds of photos and content, because no one wants to hear about a waffle necklace 30 days in a row, right? So the more you work to develop your library, the more you can mix up different things like an in-progress photo, a customer photo, a lifestyle photo, maybe a repost of someone else's content. Yes, you don't even have to use your own photos on your own social media. Another great source of content to post is other people's content, or what I like to call OPC. I'm going to talk about how to use other people's content in a minute, so I'm going to put this to the side because this is going to be so helpful. So not everything has to be you all the time. And that really helps alleviate the burden of creating content off your shoulders. Okay, so let's talk about secret number 2, which is the written descriptions. So here's what I would like for you to do. And you don't even have to do this every month. Once you get started, it's going to become easy. Make a list of questions. Your customers ask how you make your products, what ingredients you use, how to care for your products, what your products are good for, what makes them different. And then just like brain dump all of these on paper. All of this stuff is your content, right? You can write short answers to all of these questions, of course, without giving away your trade secrets. Let's say we have a photo of my pancake necklace from my jewelry shop, Tiny Hands. There's so much to say about it, right? So I can post that photo and I can talk about it like a simple product description. So just describe what it is. I can talk about how each one is scented and what scent this pancake necklace has. Maple syrup, for the record. I can also talk about who it would be great for. I could answer a question about how fast they ship. I could tell people that it takes 10 steps to make each one. I can copy and paste a review from a customer who recently bought this necklace. I can talk about how many units of this pancake necklace I have left to really give people urgency to go buy it now. Like, there's just so much to say. I can talk about pancakes in general, but you don't even have to talk about the product itself specifically. A bonus secret for you is to ask questions. Like, I can ask, what's your favorite breakfast food? Or I can ask, are you a pancake or waffle person? See, it's not even really talking about the pancake necklace, but it's in the general ballpark, and that is great too. So I promise you, if you start writing all of these things down, you just realize, oh my gosh, there's just so much you could say, right? Writer's block happens when you haven't made that first step of brain dumping. Once you've taken that first step, it will come easy. So here's another little bonus secret. Just because a photographer gives you a finished photo or you've taken a photo of on your own, it doesn't mean you have to use that photo exactly in this state. you can zoom in to get a different view. You could actually end up using the same photo like 2 or 3 times over a few months just by taking different levels of zooming in and out of a photo, because they'll all look different every time. In addition, maybe think about rotating the photo a little bit too to make it look a little bit different. Now, let's talk about the third important piece you need for scheduling your content. Secret number 3, hashtag research. So hashtags are how Instagram sort of allows you to organize and search content. So if you sell knitted hats using a hashtag like hashtag knitting or hashtag instaknit or hashtag knitters gonna knit, those will allow other people to find you. So these are really important to use. You'll want to use hashtags that your ideal customers are using. So get in the minds of your customers and think about what they're using and what they're talking about on Instagram. So like those 3 knitting hashtags that I just used, probably not a good idea to use if you make knitted hats. Because if your ideal customer is talking about knitting, they probably already know how to do it themselves and they probably won't want to buy a finished knitted product from you, right? So really think of your ideal customer. What are they posting about? You want to get in on that conversation and get your photos to appear in those hashtags. Once you've found some good hashtags, Instagram will start recommending other hashtags that are similar, so write those down as well. Another tip for finding hashtags is when you're looking through posts, when you're doing your research. Note what other hashtags people are using and then put those into collections of hashtags in your scheduling software. Planoly has a little hashtag button which allows you to save collections of hashtags to use in the future, and you can just use them over and over again. So then when you're creating your post, you've written this great post about your knitted hats, and then you want to pop in all of your hashtags that you know will attract knitting lovers or knitted product lovers, so that then you're connecting with people who are interested in knitted goods. Now let's get back to talking about how to use other people's content to help with content creation. People are putting out content all the time, and it's great if you can learn to harness that. If you find a great post, like a quote post or a beautiful photo that you feel would add value or resonate with your ideal customers, you can reach out to the owner of that photo to ask permission to use that photo, and of course, give credit back to that person when you repost it. On Facebook, instead of searching for hashtags, you can search for Facebook pages that you know your ideal customers like to go on. And then share the best content that those pages have just by using the share button that Facebook already has. You can even schedule those out in your scheduling software. Remember, social media shouldn't be all about you and your products. You want to also be of service, right? Entertain, educate, support. Be a source of content your ideal customers might like. That includes sharing articles or videos from other sources if you think your customer would enjoy that. Another source of OPC is your customer photos. So if a customer sends you a photo being like, hey, look, here I am on the ski slopes wearing my knitted hat, ask them if you can use it for your social media. That's amazing for social proof and shows to your audience that you have real life customers who love your products. You also want to tell people to post their photos on social media and encourage them to tag you. So put a call to action in your email newsletter, put it in your packaging and say, hey, tag us on Instagram. You'll see a lot of really successful brands do this, and they're getting droves of people tagging them and giving them free content. You can share customer photos in your feed. You can share them in your stories. You could pop them in your newsletter. These are amazing assets for your business. Another idea for OPC is partnerships or brand exchanges. So you can work with another small business owner who maybe has a similar audience to you and just say, hey, do you want to do a swap? So one idea, and let's just stick with the knitted hats thing, is to work with a local ski lodge or a homemade hot cocoa shop. And you can post about each other and cross-promote. These are things that matter to both of your audiences, right? And also, let's not forget influencers. I have a whole other video on working with influencers and the media. So influencers are people with huge audiences, and if you can connect with them and have them create some photos or videos of them with your products, then you can also start building out a library of influencer-generated content. So if you want to post every day now, instead of needing to come up with 30 photos and captions that you create from scratch yourself, you can go down to needing only 15 of those, and the other 15 photos or posts would be from using other people's content. I hope you feel really inspired. My dream is that you sit down for like 4 hours on one day and you can crank out all of the photography and all of the content for your entire month so you can set it and forget it. You shouldn't be spending too much time on social media. In fact, if you're spending hours a week on social media, there's a chance you aren't spending that time on other things that can make a bigger impact on your business, like with media outreach. If you're interested in how to do that, I'll link a video here for you to watch after this. If you enjoyed this, give this video a like, leave a comment, and subscribe for more handmade business tips.